Hi, Peaceful Presence Peeps. I am so excited to do my first reaction video on this channel. I am a Holy Fire Usui Reiki master teacher and a clairvoyant psychic medium. And today I'm going to be reacting to this clip called Teresa Crashes a Dance Class with a Surprise Group Reading. And it's from the show Long Island Medium. So let's go ahead and let's get started watching together.
This is the first time you ever driven me to a surprise, right?
Yeah.
So Andrea set up this group for her friends and family. The cameras are actually able to get in before us because they think that they're shooting a promotional video for her boyfriend's dance studio. So when I walk in, I'll just turn around and there I'll be.
Yeah.
It's like poof.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, I have to say I love Teresa. I love that she has a very wonderful trademark hairstyle and she always looks amazing and very well put together. In fact, her style reminds me a little bit of some of my psychic teachers who tend to, have like a unique and cool style. So I'm really excited to see her give this reading today, but I'm also a little bit nervous. One, it's a surprise, and two, it's a group reading. So I could see a few potential problems in both of those areas. First of all, I wouldn't necessarily want to surprise anyone with a reading, and the reason is that you might get a lot of different reactions depending on the group. So yes, there may be a group of people who, when they hear that there's a psychic medium, are just so excited. They're going to value the reading. They're really going to, be touched deeply, and they're just going to think it's the greatest blessing. But you might also have a few folks in the group who are skeptical, who think it's, a bunch of junk and who really don't care, which, by the way, it is smart to be skeptical about stuff like this. So, I'm not trying to say that's wrong, but I'm just saying these are people who may not receive the reading in quite the same way. And then you've got the extreme group of people who think psychic gifts are evil, who think that it's demonic to try to use your psychic gifts. And so if any of those people are in the group, I could see them being very uncomfortable with what's about to unfold. So I'll have to just hope that the person who arranged this group knew who was coming and only picked people who will really value the reading they're about to get. So the other challenge with a group reading is that a lot of times during psychic readings, really personal information comes through. So if I'm getting a psychic reading, I'd rather be alone. I wouldn't even want a friend, a partner, a relative to be with me because I want to get the clear messages without having to worry about somebody else listening in. So, that's my comment on this whole surprise group reading. But I'm excited to see how it goes. Hopefully the people here are really excited to see Teresa too.
Boom, you're here.
My name is Andrea. I'm from Miami, Florida.
Forward, side, together. Good.
My family and friends think it's a dance session for my boyfriend. He's trying to open up a new studio, so we needed to put a little video together of him teaching.
Really good. And this is what we call the box.
I am not a good liar at all, so it's very hard for me. I get very nervous. I get very jittery.
1, 2, 3.
And I'm feeling the nervous jitters too. I am definitely empathic. I'm sure a lot of you watching are too, where you're really sensitive to other people's energies and can often feel them as though they're your own. So I am getting nervous to see how people are going to react to Teresa. And I'm also giggling a little because it's a pretty hard shift from group dance class to surprise psychic medium reading. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, I'm sure they did the whole dance class thing so they'd have a reason or an excuse for having cameras there. But that's still kind of like a pretty big change from, okay, 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, to like, oh, hey, we're going to bring forth your dead loved ones and have a message for you. So let's see how this transition goes.
Nice. Now we're doing waltz. Very
And
nice.
5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Do the hustle.
I feel like I could hear like crickets right now, but Teresa is so confident. She's so enthusiastic. She's so proud. You can tell she is not letting it faze her one bit.
Hi. Oh my God. These people are like deers in the headlights. They actually have no idea why I just crashed the dance lesson. No clue. How are you? What are you guys doing here?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, thank goodness somebody recognized her, because I'm like, awkward. I mean, Teresa handled it well with a lot of charm and, you know, didn't let it faze her whatsoever, but I'm an introvert, so this is already a lot for me. Like, go see this big group of people and talk to them, and like, if I were the one coming up the stairs and everybody's looking at me like, oh, why'd you interrupt our dance class? I'd be kind of like, oh my gosh, here we go. Okay.
Oh my God. Well, I'm not here for a dance lesson. Nope. I'm here to do a group reading.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
I was dancing and all of a sudden I hear 5, 6, 7, 8, and when I looked over it was Teresa. I just went crazy. I couldn't believe it.
I'm always watching you because she loves you. So it's like incredible.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Truly, truly.
So where's Andrea? Well, thank you so much for setting this up. I know it's not easy keeping something from your family.
Oh my gosh. So I'm not surprised to see somebody who's already emotionally touched by Teresa's presence. And that's because a lot of times when I do psychic readings or treatments, like the emotion that comes through when the spiritual messages are received can feel overpowering. And it's a deeply healing process to receive the spiritual energy. But I mean, a lot of clients cry, they need a Kleenex because the messages that come through just help heal the heart. And so I'm excited to see that people are already being emotionally affected just because Teresa is present in this room. So if they're already crying before she's even started reading, I'm sure the messages are going to be good.
You're speechless?
Yeah. I was in shock. Teresa is here. I couldn't believe my sister pulled this off.
So, if you're all up to it, we could do the group reading. Oh, yeah. The amazing thing that I'm able to do as a medium is to validate for you that their souls are with you, loving and guiding you from the other side. So I am going to start with the mother figure that is departed.
Yeah, so, this is something that's really cool about mediumship in general. For those who don't know, a psychic medium is able to connect with the dead and communicate with the dead specifically to receive spiritual messages. So, if you've ever wanted to talk to your ancestors, enlightened masters who have lived on the earth before, or even just random people. I mean, it is definitely possible to do that psychically. And so the thing is with me, I found out that I was a medium, but I didn't consciously seek to develop that skill. I didn't grow up knowing I was psychic. It wasn't until after I got my Reiki attunement when I started giving myself Reiki, and that combined with meditation led to opening of my psychic gifts. And as part of that path, I have studied with different psychic teachers and done lots of practice, but mediumship wasn't a skill I really tried to build. However, a lot of my clients have come to me for mediumship readings, and I am able to impart the wisdom from their dead loved ones to them. And the thing is, I believe this gift isn't actually supernatural. Our psychic abilities are supernatural. We all have the capacity to connect with our psychic senses. And So the thing is, with mediumship, a lot of clients who come are more open to the possibility of communication with their dead loved ones, even though most people have been taught to shut down their psychic gifts in general. So I've got a few videos on this and a few blogs I'll put down in the notes below if anyone wants to check out more about how to connect with your dead loved ones as a medium. Just check out my post.
Is your mom departed?
Yes. My name is Christina. I'm here with my mother, Lucia, and we're from Miami, Florida.
She said, I was very hip, you know. She said they would have been signing up because I could salsa like nobody's business.
That is true. It's so true. That is her.
She is still her spunky self.
It's the most happiest woman I've ever met.
See, that is so cool. Like, Teresa brought forth the spirit's personality, and her clients are able to confirm, yeah, that sounds like her. You know, that's amazing. Because with psychic gifts and abilities, they're the type of thing it's difficult to measure or prove, but when you're able to receive that validation that a message that's coming through is accurate, it helps to build the faith in your own psychic skills and your own psychic abilities. So it's really cool to see Teresa picking up on the information, the presence of the mother in the room. So for me, the way I know who is in the room is that I'll receive a clairvoyant image of the equivalent relative in my family. So if it's somebody's paternal grandfather, I'll see a picture of my dad's dad. And so for me, I would have seen, you know, this person's mom. I would have seen my own mom. And that's the way I know who is there. But, you know, everybody's unique. We all have our different ways of sensing and knowing. So you can trust whichever form the message comes to you in.
I knew it. I knew it was my mom. She would walk in a room and light up the whole room. If there was dancing, she would dance all night. She was wild and crazy. She was that happy-go-lucky person. My grandmother and me were very close. She taught me everything from how to sew to how to cook. And if I didn't want to learn, she made me learn. And I'm thankful for that today.
Your mom, she is hysterical. She goes, can you believe I died?
Jeez, so like, I mentioned I'm empathic. The woman on the right is starting to tear up, and I'm starting to feel emotional too. That's one reason why I hesitated to put on any makeup for this viewing, because like I'm probably gonna cry, and you know, I just feel her sadness too, and I feel it so deeply. And you know, it's so good that these women are able to connect with the mom who just crossed over, and it's just so cool to see granddaughter, mom talking to grandmother and see that family connection coming through here.
I know, I can't believe you died, but that would be her, right? And is your father also departed?
Yes.
She goes, that's came for me and I went with him. What was I thinking?
So that's really funny, because a lot of times the spirits that come through for me are hilarious. So like the dead that I've connected to have a great sense of humor. They're never like upset. They're never very serious. They're usually either quite funny. They can be very loving and direct, but it's just cool to see, you know, the sense of humor that's coming through. And it's also really interesting, the message, because it sounds like the father died and then the mother followed. And it really does bring up questions of the afterlife. You know, what happens when we die? Like, nobody knows 100%. There have been books like the Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Tibetan Book of the Dead that try to explore that idea. But once a soul has crossed over from here into wherever it goes next, it usually doesn't come back. So even though there are a few books that mention like near-death experiences and we have a few clues, we don't really know for sure. But I think the idea of an afterlife where we can reunite with our loved ones is something a lot of people believe in, or at least hope for. So I guess we'll find out one day what happens.
She made me feel like she had some health issues.
Yes.
But no one ever really thought she was going to die that day.
That's correct.
That's why she said to me, I saw him and I went with him.
So Teresa just said she made me feel like I had health issues. And what that means is she was receiving a clairsentient message from this spirit. Clairsentience means psychic feeling. And a lot of times I receive messages clairsentiently. So what this might mean, like one time I was doing a mediumship reading and I felt pressure on my chest. And when I described that to my client, it matched with the way the person had died. So I was able to confirm that for them. So with clairsentience, you will feel an emotion, a sensation in your physical body, but you will be able to distinguish that it's not your own feeling, particularly because once you do a reading, you'll want to set an intention. And as soon as you set an intention to do reading, everything that happens, everything you say, everything you hear, even random things or seemingly random things can help answer your questions and can be messages from spirit. So the other thing Teresa said was she said. What Teresa is describing is a clairaudient message, which comes into the mind like a sound. And so it could be something like you hear as if somebody is speaking to you, or it could sound like your own internal dialogue is speaking to you. With clairaudience, sometimes you could also get messages through song lyrics. And a lot of times when I have a song stuck in our head, it's actually a clairaudient message. So if any of you have had a song stuck in your head out there, I recommend you go look up the lyrics to that song. And I'm assuming there will be something meaningful for you about those lyrics.
My mom passed away 2 weeks ago from dementia, from Alzheimer's. She never wanted to go. She never wanted to be bedridden in assisted living. And she never wanted to be all of that because she was too wild and crazy.
Wow. So I used to do hospice volunteering, and I know the majority of people that I visited had dementia. So this is definitely an issue that's affecting a lot of people. And, you know, it's really sad to hear this story, but so beautiful to be able to see this woman's photos and just learn more about who she was. She seems like a really awesome woman.
She says, I know when you were sitting there and holding my hand when I died. And you said, it's okay, Mom. I understand. If you have to go, go be with Dad.
That's what I said.
Jeez, like, this is such a tearjerker, and I don't even know these people. And, like, look how good Teresa is. She's like, this is what happened. And the woman's like, yeah, you're exactly right. Like, wow.
So know that your mother wants to thank you for that. She wants to thank you for being able to release her soul with dignity and grace.
I would wake up every morning at 6 and go to the assisted living facility and spend hours there. The last day, the lady goes, the minute you walked in the door, she started in distress. It's like she was waiting for you. And I said, okay, I mean, I'm here. And I asked my father to be there for my mom in her last minutes. I asked him many times and up in the air, please, and I prayed and I prayed. The moment she passed away, I was talking to her and I'm telling her, you see the angels, you see them there, you can go, I'm fine. It was the hardest thing.
Wow, this is so powerful. And, you know, I wish I knew. It's so wonderful that this woman told her mother there are angels there with you. It's clear she wanted her mother to feel comfort and to feel loved, because that's what we associate angels with. But I can't help but wonder, what was her mother actually seeing? You know, and I'm imagining at this point, it would have been very difficult for her mother to communicate what she was feeling, if not impossible. So I understand why we may not know exactly what she was experiencing, but I do wonder, did she actually see angels, or did she have some other type of experience? Like, I'm just really curious, what was actually the experience? What was the experience actually like?
I've ever experienced in my entire life.
She says, I don't want you to feel bad because you weren't there. And you say, I just wish I could have said goodbye to her one more time.
So that is the number one message the dead give. Like almost every mediumship reading I've given, they will bring that message through. Don't feel guilty that you weren't there when I died. The thing is, once spirits have crossed over, they want us to be happy and free. They don't want us to feel burdened by guilt and pain and struggle and distress. Like, they want us to live vibrantly and to celebrate our life. And they know that it's not always easy and that sometimes it can be difficult. And that's exactly why they don't want us to feel even worse about things that we really don't have total control over, such as being with somebody exactly when they die. If it's able to happen, that's amazing and that's super powerful. But sometimes it's just not possible. And a lot of people do harbor guilt, feeling like they should have been there for somebody who is dying. But every spirit I've ever channeled who has died says, let it go. Don't worry about it. Just live your life and be happy.
And to tell her how much I love her. I wish I could have been there. Especially be there with my mom, who was holding her hand when she took her last breath.
She made me feel like, you are like a daughter to me. You're not my granddaughter. You're like my daughter.
Wow, yeah, this is making me cry so much. So, I mean, I'm used to it. I'm a crybaby with the spiritual energy stuff, so I'm really not surprised. I wonder if anyone else out there is empathic and feeling the emotion also. Yeah, it's really powerful. And, you know, Teresa just said again, she made me feel. And so that's another example of this clairsentience coming through.
She says, I don't want you to feel that burden, that should have, could have, would have. I should have went there that day. She says, I want you to know that I will still be here listening, letting you know that she's with you and that she's okay.
I sit at work and I play salsa music and I think of her and I start crying. But now I know that she's happy and now I feel it even more intensely that she's here with me.
See, that's cool. She says, now I feel it. I feel that she's here with me. Yes, I'm still crying. But I just think it's so cool because a lot of people have been taught to shut down their gifts, but they're still open when it comes to their dead loved ones. So a lot of my clients will come and they'll, you know, have had a dream with a dead loved one, or they will have like smelled a smell they used to wear, or, you know, see a coin or some feathers and just feel like they're around. And, you know, it's true. They are there. They're there for us. They want to communicate with us. They want to share their love for us. And, you know, something about receiving that message and knowing that is so comforting and so healing. So I definitely want to encourage any of you out there, if you've ever considered developing your psychic gifts, to go ahead and start. Like I said, they're not supernatural. They're super natural. Everyone has psychic gifts. And just like building muscles, all it takes is time to practice and develop. So if you've ever thought about it, give it a shot. And see, the thing is, I used to not believe in any psychic stuff. I grew up really academically focused. I went to a math and science high school. And so I was really big in developing my logic and my reason. But then when I graduated with 2 degrees, I kind of felt like, what else is left? And so I started to pursue the spiritual path. And as part of that, I started to meditate, which began to open my intuition. And I started to learn more about how my intuition works. And as I practiced on my psychic skills and got my Reiki attunement, I started to see that the intuitive mind is also very valuable. So I feel like I spent a large part of my life directing my logical, rational mind. And I also wanted to use the other part of my brain and really harness both hemispheres. So now I focused on developing my intuition and those gifts, because most of our society and culture doesn't really focus on that, amplify it. And in some cases, we're even taught to fear or demonize this part of ourselves. So the thing is, the more you experience this for yourself, the more you can see that it's real. Like, I encourage healthy skepticism. I even blog about it. I think it's really great to be skeptical because there are a lot of scam psychics out there, and there's just a lot of mistruths in general. So whatever it is, it's always worth checking with yourself. And if you don't have any experience yourself, that's tough to do. So that's why I encourage you to start practicing and building up your own experience if you haven't already, so that you can feel more confident in using other parts of your brain that maybe you haven't focused on as much.
I've been numb. I haven't cried until today. And I feel like I mourned her. I feel like I cried enough today. And I feel I'm not kidding, I feel relieved.
I bet they do. And I'm not kidding either, because I feel like I can see the goddess expressing through these women feeling their emotions. We are taught, if you're not happy, deny it, hide it, whether it's anger, whether it's jealousy, whether it's depression, sadness, guilt, whatever it is. If it's not happy, just shut it down, say you're okay. And so to see these women feeling deeply that love that they have and letting that sadness in the morning just flow through them, it's bringing them relief. And it's something I feel is very sacred, healing, and beautiful for sure.
Who passed from the head? Who got hit in the head when they died? I felt as if someone hit me right here in the back of my head. It was a gentleman.
See, clairsentience, she felt as if somebody hit her right there. And the thing she's doing is communicating exactly what she's feeling. You'll notice she didn't interpret it. She didn't say who got shot in the head, who died from a blow to the head, who died from a brain concussion or whatever. She said, I am feeling like I'm getting hit in the head. Who is that related to? So the thing is, a lot of times messages as they come through might not really make sense to the reader, but if you communicate exactly what you're feeling or seeing to the client, something about it typically will resonate with them, and they can fill in details that you may not be able to grasp. So it's really important to just communicate exactly what you're feeling or exactly what you're seeing without trying to interpret it, so that your clients can best get the message that's intended for them.
So, who's that?
My best friend. My name is Natalie, and I'm here from Miami, Florida.
Did he live with you?
He's always in our heart.
Because he said, I want to thank you for giving me what I longed for. A family.
Just what he wanted. My house was full of kids.
Jeez, like, I don't need to cry more, but it's probably going to happen. Oh my gosh. And first of all, this is tragic. This is tragic. To die, before your natural death is always very sad. For somebody to die in this manner is extremely tragic. And I really feel for this woman who's receiving the messages. And this is going to be an intense one. I can already tell.
He's here using my physical body at this moment to tell you to let go of all of the burdens and guilt.
What did I tell you? Number one message, the dead say, let go of the burdens and guilt. And, it's just such a good reminder what's important too, because this spirit said he values that feeling of family that he had with these people. He didn't say, I valued my, fancy luxury car. He didn't say, material possessions or wealth. He just valued that time spent together. And it's just such a reminder that you never know what somebody's going through. And if you're able to be loving and kind to one another, how powerful that can be. And it's also that reminder to prioritize the people that you love, because like it or not, we're not always going to be here. So, I mean, honestly, this is going deeper than I expected, but I really should have expected it. I mean, if you're channeling the dead, it's going to bring up a lot of philosophical questions, emotional issues. So, I mean, it's really interesting. And thanks for watching with me.
He screamed in my ear, I want her to stop going over the day that I died. And he says, and I don't want you to feel that if you were different or if you picked up the phone, that things would have been different and he never would have died.
Wow. So clairaudient messages continue to come through. In fact, in one of them, he was screaming. Teresa communicated that exactly so the client could tell the intensity of the message. And what's happening when you channel spirits is that the spiritual dimension is beyond our words. So like our words are putting language to concepts that exist beyond words. And sometimes the words that we use can be very limiting. And so the thing is, whenever I channel, I can feel the spiritual energy around me, and I use my own vocabulary to put it into words that other people can understand. But it's a very unique and interesting experience to be able to feel that spiritual energy before it's even formed the words that we use to filter our experience through.
My friend passed away 8 years ago from suicide. He called me on Thursday night and told me that he wanted to talk. I was going out on a date, and I told him I would call him back. I regret every minute of it, because it's always that what if? What if I just would have not gone and stayed on the phone with him? What if I would have told my dad, oh, look, maybe you should just go pick him up and I'll talk to him as soon as I come back from my date? What if?
Wow, so I can see why this has been weighing on her mind, and I'm glad she got the spiritual confirmation that she doesn't need to worry that she would have been the one to save this person. But what a tragedy. I don't know what else to say. This is just so sad.
He makes me feel all this emotion for you. I can feel it. But then when I ask him to say it, he doesn't know how to verbalize it. He made me feel like did you date him at one time?
No.
Oh, because he says, I love you. He knelt down in front of you and said, will you marry me?
Oh my gosh, I just got chills when she said that. This is like mind-blowing. And yet again, Teresa was using her clairsentience. She said, he made me feel like I loved you and all this stuff. So she described the feelings and sensations that came to her to bring forth this message.
Did you just get the goosebumps or like a chill?
She just got the chills too. I just got the chills. Are you kidding me? I knew it. Like, that's the thing. Like, chills are confirmation. So with energy, when spiritual energy is consolidating into the physical form, you get chills. So I'm sure it's happened to probably everyone out there where you get the chills connected to a certain thought or situation. And whenever you experience that, unless it's obvious, like you're freezing cold, like you're out in the ice or the air conditioning is blowing on you, if you just get random chills, that is spirit consolidating into matter, and it's a confirmation. Now, the opposite happens when I do Reiki. So when I do Reiki, the physical is transmuting into spiritual, and so I will actually heat up instead of getting cold. So a lot of times my clients will tell me my hands feel very, very hot, and my palms will even feel sweaty when I'm channeling Reiki because it's that spiritual energy. So yeah, it's really powerful. But if you get the chills, definitely pay attention.
Know that was his soul that moved through you.
It was meant to be.
What was meant to be?
stuff together. I really can't believe that she did say that, because I told myself right then and there that I really would have married him if he was here.
His soul has learned the lessons of unconditional love, and that's what this is about. And he says he wants to give you your life back today.
Wow. Okay, so the feeling of unconditional love, I just felt in my heart here, and it was really expansive and pure, and it's really nice to feel. But I'm just like consumed by sadness thinking about this woman who's now realizing this person she loved who would have proposed to her isn't even here anymore, and how sad this is that she won't ever get to see him again. Like, I just feel terrible that she had that experience, and I feel terrible for the man who crossed over, because he must have been suffering so much. And, you know, if anyone out there is experiencing suffering due to depression or suicidal thoughts, Reiki can help. And I actually do have a video about that. And I'll also put a link down in the comments where there are hotlines and other resources that you could use. So, you know, it can be tough to have those darker thoughts and feelings, but they too shall pass. So anyone who's struggling with that out there, know you're not alone, and that it's not easy to deal with, but that it can change, and that no matter what it seems like you're facing, that will never get better. It will get better. It can get better, and things will heal. So don't give up hope, and definitely reach out for, you know, a trained counselor or any other help you might need. Don't worry about it. And, you know, I'm just gonna send so much love and healing to everyone out there, and hope that you're all able to, you know, heal and feel your deepest truth and all your emotions here on this earth.
Because he shows me you built all these walls.
Nobody would accept me the way I am like he did.
Okay, so that's clairvoyance. He shows me you've built all these walls. So Teresa received a vision. And with clairvoyance, it can happen a few different ways. Sometimes it's like a vision that's like a mental picture. So if I were to remember this poster, it would appear in my mind's eye as a vision. And so that type of visual memory can also be a clairvoyant message. And so in this case, Teresa saw the walls. So clairvoyance can also happen with the eyes open. And when that's happened to me, like, I was working at a psychic fair and I was looking at my client, and as I was looking at them out of the corner of my eye, it looked like there was a American Revolution soldier. I knew there wasn't a real American Revolution soldier in the room. I knew it was a message about one of their past lives. It doesn't usually happen with like open eye visuals, but I just wanted you to know that that's another possibility with clairvoyance.
I don't like being myself that much because of that.
So what's the cute little girls with the tutus and stuff? Do they talk about him? And do they say that they see him? Or they bring him up out of the blue?
Oh my God, in the house the other day he says, oh no, because he's here.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like,
know that your daughters are seeing his soul.
Oh, see, Teresa is so good. She is so good. And so that's the thing too. Like, I'd encourage everyone to be cautious if you're going to meet with a psychic. I usually pray beforehand to be guided to the exact right psychic reader for me. And I use that as like a safety measure so that I can spiritually sort through the best reader. But, you know, if anybody ever tells you you have to pay thousands of dollars to remove a curse, that is a total scam. You know, just be careful out there. I've heard stories about sham psychics. And so that's another reason I encourage everybody to develop your own gifts, because when you can do a reading for yourself, you know you're going to be a trustworthy source. But I definitely hope nobody writes off psychics totally due to bad experiences, because I've received a lot of insight and healing and wisdom from the different readings that I've received and given. So I think our psychic abilities are a gift that's meant to help us navigate the world in line with our purpose and our mission. So I feel like opening up to our psychic gifts is something that can be really beneficial for a lot of people.
To show you that his soul is at peace. He says the symbols and signs go on around you all the time. How do you connect with the color green? I just saw a green balloon.
I was looking at a tattoo that says sometimes you need to let the past go, and it's a green balloon flying away.
Perfect. He says, I was trying to show you that I was okay.
See, that's a really good example of Teresa describing what she saw without interpreting it. She asked her client, how do you connect with a green balloon? And it turned out there's this very specific tattoo with a specific message that she connected to. And so that's just a cool example of communicating the psychic information you're getting and letting your client understand the meaning based on their own experience.
I miss him more than anything in the world, but he's always there.
Wow. So that was so touching. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll definitely be sure to make some more reaction videos. I think it's really cool watching the Long Island Medium. And if you're interested in getting a psychic reading for yourself, I do video readings, and you can check the link below. You can also check out my channel for how-to on healing, psychic development, and pick-a-card readings. So until next time, peace out.